look into the metro area and that's why you see we're talking a lot about the metro area of New York and Jersey.
Right. Right, I was going to do an update. I just stopped this news thing a minute because right, so I've got some interesting things I wanted to talk about. I've been busy with making masks actually. I actually painted them. I'll put the light on. Oh, actually that's a bit noisy with that microphone right there. Stick it over here. I've been making some masks because of this virus situation, and I actually got them off Thingiverse, but the original design, the filter was crap. It was the actual filter it was going was. You could hardly breathe through it. You'd probably suffocate to death before you got any air, because every time you breathed out, the moisture was fogging the filter up. And so I made these new ones, and basically cotton wool around the perimeter. The exhale, when you're breathing out, goes through the middle, because I've made a valve. It's called the onion skin type valve. I don't know if I can show you. Wait, let's stick it in. If I put it in the microphone and blow, you'll hear it, and I suck, you'll hear it. The valve clicking on and off. You can hear that little noise. That's the valve that's on the end. And so basically when you're breathing out, you breathe through the centre, and it prevents the filter when you're breathing in from getting moist and wet and condensation from your breath. It stops it from clogging up so you can breathe it more easily. And yeah, it works well. You can hear the valve click. Yeah. Right, but if I put the mask on top, you can't really hear what I'm saying. You can't hear me. Yeah, it's like I'm talking in a bucket. So yeah, you can't hear a damn thing I'm saying when I've got the mask on. That's how airtight it is. So if I'm talking and I stick this mask on my mouth like that, I'll just disappear. So it's not very practical for doing live streams with the mask on, I tell you. But anyway, I did some interesting things on my coils on my generator. I was thinking about this circuit of mine when I sent pulses back to the exit coil. I think it was time I did an update on this because it's been ages, and I wanted to get back onto it because this virus thing is just driving me up the wall. You know, sometimes you just don't want to think about this stuff. So anyway, I've staggered my coils. Now you'll notice that the coils are in a different place than what they were previously. I've basically got them in a V shape. So we've got the two generator coils in the middle. These two coils are actually not at a 45-degree angle. They're at about a 10-degree angle. Now, all of the coils are in series. Well, so we've got two wires coming out of each pair of coils that are the output, and the wires on the other end of the coil that come out, which you normally tie together to make it in series, those wires come into our circuit board, my drag cancellation circuit board. Now, what's interesting is having a combination of the drag, anti-drag compensation circuit board and also staggering my coils. My output is actually a little bit lower, but that's to be expected because I'm not overtaxing the system. But what is really interesting is the fact that I've circumvented most of the drag. When I say most of the drag, I mean I started out with the voltage on the output of about 3 volts. I was basically pushing about 90 milliamps, 100 milliamps into about 3 volts. And my RPM was, went up to about 2,500 RPM. Now, I've climbed up slowly to 8 volts now on the output stage, so I'm at 8 volts, and my output current is at 68 milliamps. So, and my RPM is now at 2,765 RPM. So that's pretty good. I mean, I've only seen a change of something like 200 RPM. I've only seen a change, and my input current is 350 milliamps. It's jumping, it's 340, 370, 340, 360, it's jumping around there. So it's about 350 milliamps on the input current at 15 volts. So 15 volts on the input, that's 1.5 by the way, because this thing is a bit noisier than it used to be, I don't know why. I think my rubber dampeners won't sort it out again. Anyway, what's interesting is that I'm getting a more constant, stable revolutions per minute. Now, by adding more coils, I should be able to offset that loss and also create even more anti-drag compensation, because what's happening is the more coils I add, the more output I get, the more output I get, but I also cancel a certain amount of the drag coefficient on the system. So I'm quite happy with this result so far. I don't know if I can move this to show you it. It's a bit awkward. Try not to pull wires off. If you can see that, it's 350 milliamps, 15 volts, it's jumping around 15.4, it's 15 volts, that's what I set it at. Anyway, so we're doing quite well. I mean, my input current has been very low since I adjusted the staggered my coils. So my coils are overlapping basically. What's happening right now is that the coils are overlapping, so that the waveform, the exit on the waveform is actually overlapped with the entry point of the next waveform. So that's cancelling out the drag effect. So my hands, I put some alcohol in my hand cream because my hands get really dry with all this bloom. All this washing of our hands, because we have to keep washing our hands every time we do anything, and it dries your hands up really bad. Oh, damn it. So I've got to keep putting blooming cream on. It's got alcohol in it as well. It's annoying, this virus, it really is. It's just pissing me off. Sick of it. Anyway, so I want to get back to this because I'm just sick of thinking about this damn virus all the time. You know, it's just that time. It's that sort of one of those times in history. I suppose it will go down as a great pandemic. I suppose you could call it the day the Earth stood still, like that movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still. I mean, it's a good movie that, it's about aliens, but I suppose you could call a virus an alien really, because it doesn't belong here. So anyway, we're at 66 milliamps right now, but we're sacrificing some of the output because because the coils are staggered slightly. But that's fine, because the more coils I add, the more current I'm going to get anyway. So if I can keep that, if I can maintain that that drag cancellation effect, then it's a positive result in my book anyway. Well, that's all really. I don't think there's anything much else to talk about, but you can't really see much with the light on, but the LEDs on my drag insulation board occasionally flicker. I'm going to pump up the voltage actually though, because I want to speed things up a little bit so we're not waiting around as long, so I'm going to pump the voltage up to about 19 volts. I think I can go that high. Let's see. Right, we're at 19 volts now. 460 milliamps at 19 volts. Now the output is at 104 milliamps. And we're climbing up to 3,165 RPM and it's still climbing. So yeah, this is a lot better than before, because previously when I pumped the voltage up to 19 volts, I was drawing over 500 milliamps. I was drawing like 550 milliamps. But now I'm only drawing 440 milliamps, so that's a huge improvement, and I'm pushing out 104 milliamps. So we're driving into 8.37 volts right now. So yeah, I'm quite chuffed with that result. I don't know if you can see the output current there on the meter. You should be able to make it out. There's very little vibration from this. It's very, very stable. Anyway, I'm going to turn the light off. See if we can see no lights flickering here, but it's hard to see really. Oh, and happy Easter everybody. I know I'm a bit late, I'm a day late. Easter Sunday was yesterday. But anyway, happy Easter anyway, even though it's a bit late. I actually even adjusted that. I haven't even adjusted this trimmer since I moved the coil, so let's just have a play around with this trimmer. It's very stable. Well, adjusting that, I've dropped the current to 97 milliamps, but the RPM's climbing, so it should, the average will start to go back up again. Interesting, because I've got multiple trigger points now I could set it to, because I've got the coil staggered, which technically means I could trigger it. At different points. I think I'll leave it there even though the output current's a bit lower because it's gaining speed. Exactly 100 milliamps output right now. Well, 100.8. Timing speed. I don't do many live streams in the dark, but I'm just interested to see how constant the output current is, to see if it self-regulates like it was doing previously. Well, the LEDs aren't flickering on now like they were earlier. Oh, it must have been that was doing it. Maybe it's when that capacitor's not connecting right. Probably can't see it anywhere. It's kind of behind all them components. A little bit of a light show with the LEDs. It runs very smooth. Well, that's with all the new rotors in there now as well. Yeah, I hope you're all well. I hope none of you are ill with this COVID ID. I suppose there was a movie I saw years ago. It was called The Satan Bug. Well, I suppose we could nickname this coronavirus Satan Bug because it's pretty evil. The way it attacks people. It's pretty nasty. Earlier on tonight I discovered a wire had come off one of my coils, and I just noticed the wire floating about. I thought, what? So that's what prompted me to decide to stagger my coils to try it out like that. And yeah, it's very interesting because you see, you don't gain anything by optimizing the coils to produce the maximum current, because all that happens is it slows the system down and you end up with less current, technically, because it slows down, and you also draw more current. But because I've staggered the coils, my input current's gone down, the speed increases, and I actually gain current by doing it that way. I actually gain current because there's less drag on the system. So it's actually more efficient when it's staggered than when it's directly if all the coils are in phase, then I actually lose energy because I've got more drag on the system. But when things are slightly out of phase, I'm gaining. So, yeah. I'm at 9.18 volts and I'm still at 96 milliamps. That's pretty good, because normally around about this point here, at about 9 volts, I would be expecting something like 50 milliamps on the output. Well, I'm doing 96 milliamps, so it's definitely a bit of an improvement. I'm at 3,300 RPM at the moment. My RPM meter is across the room, sorry, I don't want to keep moving it. Oh, I got an Easter egg. At least we can have some Easter eggs, even though we can't go out during lockdown. Well, we can go for a walk, go to the shop, that's about it really. I bought my Easter egg today because, well, they were on offer, and because we can't see relatives and family, and my daughters aren't living locally, it's probably they don't live locally. It's just wise not to. Well, we can't travel around very easily, so I said to my daughter, well, I'll tell you what, you eat the egg you bought, I'll eat the egg I bought, and we'll just pretend that we sent it to each other. I said, alright, it seems to work. Instead of us sending each other an egg, let's just buy an egg for ourselves and then just do it that way, because it's just too complicated to. You can't spend Easter with family if you don't live together. It's really an awful situation to be in. My daughter would probably have come through to see me, you see, normally, but because of this lockdown, all the roads are, well, we've got police roadblocks and everything. Well, yeah, you see, the thing is, if one person can do it, then everybody would do it, wouldn't they? So you've got to basically know where to draw the line. Still at 92 milliamps, that's pretty impressive really. I think I'll save the rest of this. It's going a bit soft, I'll put it in the fridge. So yeah, I'm quite chuffed with the result because I'm getting a pretty stable output curve. I was just chatting to my friends on Discord. RWG Research chat. Russ Grease has a website, rwgresearch.org. Anyone that doesn't know about it should go and check it out. He's got loads of interesting stuff. He's currently building an electric bicycle with digital voltage control, monitoring, and also remote. He could even remote control his electric bicycle. He's doing all the electronics himself. It's very interesting what he's doing with that. He's on YouTube, so you can search RWD on YouTube. So I'm just going to let this run because I want to get the voltage on the silver capacitors across the room. I want to get them up to about 12 volts because I want to dump the voltage into the battery, and then I want to start a new cycle to see what the difference is on the load factors and everything. I want to see how much RPM I'll lose, which will probably be about, it'll probably drop down to 2,700 or something. So input current is still at 410 milliamps. So what I was thinking about doing was winding some more coils at some point, because these trigger coils, which trigger the output stage, these two here, I can move them, well, I'll reverse the polarity and I'll slot them across here. Then I can have another set of generator coils where these are at the moment, because they have to be staggered, you see, because I can't get another set of generator coils there right now because these are in the way. But these trigger coils need to be in that position, but they can be over here instead, so I can move them across. So I have the trigger coils over here, then I have some more generator coils there, and then I've got places for another pair of generator coils on the other side. I've actually got, I could put another pair of generator coils on the back, so I could have an extra 4 generator coils. Without my input going up at all, really. Because just by moving them and staggering them, I've actually dropped my input current a lot. It's dropped quite significantly. And I've gained output, so it'll definitely drop more if I have more coils on there. If I do have to make this unit longer, I can do that as well, because there's extra drive shaft on each end, so this whole assembly I could have an extra at least 2 extra banks of coils. Sets as in, array. I could add extra on there. We're at 3,473 RPMs right now. Input current is at 400 milliamps. Obviously the output current is on this meter. It's dropping slightly as the voltage goes up. We're at 10.5 volts on the output capacitors, supercapacitors at the moment. There's a bit of loss on the output section though, because the meter uses a bit of power, and the circuitry at the other end tends to eat a little bit of the juice. So it climbs a good bit slower than what it would be otherwise. Let's see what happens if we reverse my wires on the circuit. I don't think it'll make a difference, but we'll find out. Oh, right, let's wait and see what happens when it settles down. Oh, that's different. Got a different waveform on the blue channel. 91. About 3,470 RPM, 3,474 RPM, 90 milliamps again. Oh, right, so that's better that way around. Oh, that's interesting. I think input current's the same. Just by staggering my coils, it makes such a difference to everything, you know, it's amazing how it changes everything. Of course, most of the changes are due to the drag cancellation circuit on the other end, so I must be working harder now. The triac seems to feel a bit warm, so it must be working. I'm just going to swap it round again. The blue waveform was completely different. Right, 88, 87 milliamp output. '87, '88, '85, '86, '86, '85. Right, let's swap it again. 85, well, let's remember that number. Gotta wait for it to settle out. So if it's better than 85, I'll leave it this way around. '88, '87. No, it's about the same. '86. '88. It's actually better this way around. '87. Yeah, it's better this way around. RPM 3,480. Yeah, it's definitely better this way around. I'm just going to put it with that trim pot. Lower. Yeah, I'll leave it like that, it's better. 86 milliamps output, 3,490 RPM. Yeah. You see, there's a certain level of understanding when you're building a circuit. There's only so much my mind can comprehend at once before it gets confusing. And it gets confusing when you start to add multiple facets, multiple assets and combinations of coils and circuitry, and the whole thing gets like a jumbled mess, and it's like a maze, and it's virtually impossible to try to get it all into context in your mind. And it's when you get to that point that it's pure experimentation and trying out new things that you start to operate in the dark a little bit, because you just can't envisage every aspect of the design. I mean, it's like a spider's web. You can pull one strand of a spider's web, but it's very difficult for the mind to work out how it interacts with all the other strands of the web. You can't work it all out. It's just a nightmare. It's a maze, you know. If you're just dealing with two things or three things, I think it's true what they say about two-dimensional thinking or three-dimensional thinking. I think what we're talking about when we're talking about electronics and stuff is we get into a billion, something like that. I'm exaggerating, I suppose, but it's like a billion dimensional thinking. You just can't grasp it. You can't get it all in your mind. You just can't work it all out. It just gets too much. So when we get to that point, because everything is affecting everything else, every pulse that's happening is happening really quickly, and it's interacting with all the other coils, and there's resonances going on, harmonics. It's the harmonic factors that are the biggest problem. The harmonics, you put two frequencies that are virtually the same side by side, and you get a third harmonic. And the third harmonic in itself is resonating with the other two harmonics, the other two frequencies, and you get another harmonic, and you end up with all these multiple bands of frequencies which you never envisaged would be there, but they're there. And yeah, so imagine you've got a tray full of ball bearings, right? You drop one ball bearing and all of the ball bearings start bouncing all at once and at different rates, and it's a bit like that. It's impossible to comprehend it all. I mean, us as human beings, we're very limited. Oh, we're at 11.3 volts on the output, and I'm quite happy with 82 milliamps. That's pretty damn amazing. I'm at 11.3 volts on the supercapacitors, and my input current is 390 milliamps. it's jumping around a bit, 380, 390, 410 it just went up to then, 400, 380, 390. I think the average is about 390. It's on that most of the time now. So 390 milliamps at 19 volts in, 3,568 RPM, with an 84 milliamps output. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. Well, it's better than what I've had before anyway. So I'm going to have to start winding more coils pretty soon, and that's going to be a drag. I don't really enjoy winding coils, but I'm going to have to start doing them soon, because I can't move forward if I don't. And just by changing the polarity of these coils and series to my circuit board, just by swapping the wires around, it made a lot of difference. It's AC current, it's AC voltage, but it's just the polarity that's going to the exit coil, the anti-drag coil. Actually, never moved that yet, so let's move the anti-drag coils a bit to see what that does. And that's 3,800, no, 3582, that's 3,584. Let's move this about a bit, see what my output point is, 84. 86 now. 3574, 3571. It's dropping, so that's bad, worse. Right, 3566. I'm trying to get the RPM up. Three, 559, 3561, it's going back up again. Went down a bit. 3563, 3564, 3565, 3566. Move down a bit more. 3567, 69, 70, 71, 72. Oh, it's gone back down again, so I was in the best place. Move it back again. So 35, oh. There's a bit of a lag on this. 3567, 68, 69, 70, 71. I'll leave it there. 74, yeah. Just come back up with fraction. 75, 76, 3576, 3575, 3577, 3578, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. Wow! My RPM's climbing, and as it does, my output should be climbing as well. Oh yeah, I've got a better waveform now on the drag cancellation, because the drag cancellation coil actually sends the voltage to trigger the triac. So if that's in the wrong place, it's going to trigger at the wrong point, at the wrong moment. 3585, 3586, 3587, 3589, 3590. It's still climbing. As that climbs, the output should climb. 3593, 3595, 3596, 3595, 3596, 35. It seems to have stabilised now. So, 3598, 3600, 3601, I ain't even touching it right now, it's still climbing. 3605, 3604, 3602, jumping around a bit. 3603, 3604, 3607, 3606, 3605. It's hovering. But yeah, that's good. I've got that in a pretty good place right now. Because the input current's dropped to 390 now, it's stable at 390. $380. Input current 380. 380. 390. 380. 390. It's jumping around a bit. So yeah, and we're at 11.7 volts on the output. 11.7 volts on the output. 80 milliamps current on the output. 80 milliamps. 11.7 on bit voltage. Yeah, that's better than before. My input current's 390. Remember, we're only at 19 volts on the input right now. Yeah, that's cool. So it's a lot of fiddling and tweaking and everything, but it's fun. Anyway, you can see the output current there, so I'm hoping you can see it anyway. I'll try and move the camera so you can see the oscilloscope. Hold on a minute. Right, so that's the oscilloscope. It's on a long tripod right now, so it's a bit hard to move the camera around. Oh, I can't do it. I can't get it low enough because it's on a long stand right now. Move this 390, 380. $80 milliamp output still, 81. That's pretty, it's hardly dropping, that's what's getting me, that's what's really exciting. It's the fact that my output current is hardly dropping at all, because it's balancing itself out more effectively. And there's virtually no vibration at all on this. I'll turn the noise cancellation off. Right, no more noise cancellation, you'll be able to hear things a bit better. A bit more hiss, probably. I'm quite surprised we're still at 81 milliamps and we're at 12 volts now. Output voltage on the output section is at 12 volts. See if I can drag this camera over there. I don't know if, the wires, maybe not, I don't know if the wire's long enough. It's right up there, so I can see it. Oh, you won't be able to see that. I haven't got my phone. I haven't got my phone, you see. This is my long tripod camera to look in the mirror. It's yeah, it's a bit odd to move it around. We're still hovering around 80 milliamps. One thing I've noticed, as the voltage has gone up on the output section, the blue waveform, that's where the oscilloscope is attached to the gate of the triac on the other side of the board. The blue waveform is expanded quite a bit. So it seems to be compensating. As the voltage goes up, the current goes up instead of normally dropping. Instead of the current normally dropping as the voltage goes up on the output side, the current seems to be following it. It seems to be linearly tracking the voltage and keeping up with demand, which is really good. That's really a good thing to have. Because normally what happens is the current drops as the voltage goes up because you can't keep pumping the current out. Well, there's a bigger differential or something. But anyway, I'm just glad that the current is staying high and not dropping off too rapidly, because if it was, I would be losing my charge factor. You know, my efficiency of charging the supercapacitors, I'll be losing out with that, because the speed is obviously increasing to keep up with demand, which is really good. And my input current is still pretty low, it's at 380 milliamps. It's almost constant with the input current. We're at 3,708 RPM right now. It's still climbing. 3,712, 3,711, 3,705. It's dropping again. It keeps going up and down. It's constantly trying to compensate. Oh, really, I'm tired. I'm going to discharge the output capacitors now because I'm at 12.3 volts. I'm just going to manually trigger it if I can. Right, I've manually triggered it. So there's no load on it right now. The load will start to come back as the supercapacitor is discharged into the battery. And the speed has gone right up to 4,570, well 4,600 RPM now. Still climbing. Something is rattling. Probably that tape. The load's coming back now. Oh, I've got some nice pulses on there now. Very good pulses. 90 milliamps again. We're at 4,000 RPM, slowly dropping. The supercapacitors are still discharging. Right, it's one of the magnets that's vibrating. That's better. Still 64 milliamps, wow. Wait until that relay clicks, it's going to jump right up. That's amazing, because normally at this point I'd only see 23 milliamps. When there's little load on it, I'd see something like 23 or 40 milliamps or 30. But I'm seeing 65, so that's pretty good. We're at 4,012 RPM. That relay should click off in a minute, then the load will come back on. Full load. Here we go. 300 milliamps just then. The LEDs are coming on. Oh, this is jumping around a bit. Right, we've dropped right down to 2,654 milliamps. Sorry, RPM. 2645 RPM. And we're at 163 milliamps output. That's bloody good. The best I could get before, the best current output at this speed I was getting before was 110 milliamps. Now I'm getting 160 milliamps. That's a hell of an improvement. Mind you, I'm running it at 19 volts at the moment as well, so, but the input current is only at 480 milliamps. The input current is 480 milliamps, so I'm just a fraction under half an amp. So I'll be going offline in a bit. I'm just let it run for a bit. That feeding capacitor legs weren't tight enough. So yeah, we're at 2600, 2600, no, 2584 RPM. Capacitor is doing my ears, my eyes in, shining up. Socket's not very good. I need to do a better socket. That's better. I have to zigzag the legs a bit to make it a tight fit. I think I've got a bit of bearing slip on the drive shaft. That's what's causing some noise. The drive shaft isn't a snug fit on the bearings, and the bearings are slipping a bit, and I noticed my drive shaft has got some blue areas. Well, that must be where it's getting too hot. The bearings themselves aren't doing all the work, so there's a bit of slip on the drive shaft. I need to sort that out sometime. I don't know how to do it really, because if I glue them on I'll never get the damn thing apart. You know, if I put a smear of grease or something on the shaft, that would help lubricate, but then it's running on the wrong part really. Maybe I want some of that Loctite stuff on there. Something that won't be too strong that I can still get the bearings off the shaft, I don't know. So I'll think about that. I suppose I could use wax. No, that I don't know. If the bearings got warmed it would just melt the wax, so that's not good either. Once they start slipping, they just wear the shaft away. Probably need to put better brass bushings on each side to clamp the bearings on more evenly, but I've tried that and it just causes more drag. So it's back up to 4.49 volts on the capacitors on the output. I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to watch some snooker or something, I don't know. So anyway, catch you next time I suppose. And stay fit, stay healthy, be well. Yeah, just avoid this flipping coronavirus thingy. Ugh. Good night.